So, Ty, the NBA Finals are over. I would like to direct everyone back to our last podcast where Ty said that the Cavs would go, quote, back to back.
So I thought Sports Dorks' first take was wrong.
I said that it would be your worst take ever, and I really hope it is.
I hope I can stand by that. I wouldn't mind that being my worst take. If my worst take is LeBron winning another finals, I'll take it.
Okay, well, here's a stat that I stole from Haberstro that I thought was super interesting. I know I told you yesterday. In the 602 minutes that LeBron was not on the floor this year, the Cavs had the same scoring differential as the New York Knicks.
See, but LeBron's a player on the team. Why can't Melo get that scoring differential up?
No, this isn't about Melo. Don't turn it into that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get me to rank.
Take Melo off the court and what's the Knicks scoring differential?
Melo played a lot more than 602 minutes. You take LeBron off the court for the Cavs for a season, they play 6,888 or 3,888 minutes in a season. LeBron only sat 15% of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For an entire season without LeBron, the Cavs are the worst team in the NBA.
They get somebody for him. It's not like you just can't take LeBron off.
Okay, well then who
you put Andrew Wiggins back over there? They're not the worst team in the NBA. They're not the worst team in the NBA. I think they're better than the Brooklyn Knicks. They're the Brooklyn Nets. I think they're better than the New York Knicks.
How dare you call us the Brooklyn Knicks?
That's what they look like.
Oh,
it's hard to not get them confused.
I'd like to have those Brooklyn picks.
Yeah, no kidding. So would Brooklyn.
Yeah, don't get this twisted. The Cavs are terrible without LeBron. Their scoring differential is the same as the Knicks without him on the floor. And Kyrie got exposed for the one-dimensional player that he is this postseason.
Played a lot of offense. And I think him dribbling the ball out of bounds on the last play of the Game 5 kind of just shows it.
You know what's funny is that ESPN's finally starting to, turn against him.
Yeah.
And I love it. Because they're starting to talk about how, Kyrie's very one-dimensional. All he does is dribble and shoot. Because those are the only things he can do.
That ISO game is heavy.
It
was even heavier in the finals, too.
Now, I will give Kyrie credit because I'm known as a Kyrie hater amongst our friends. But it's not really a hater. I just don't think he's very good. But he is the best finisher in the NBA.
It's incredible. Steph's a close second, man.
Yeah, he is.
It's close.
Did he show you something in this finals, Ty?
Yeah, he stepped up.
What was he, 28, 9, and 8?
Somewhere around there. The rebounds were incredible because they weren't Russell Westbrook rebounds. The team wasn't going out of the way for him to get the rebounds.
No.
He was in there fighting.
He is the ultimate team player, I think.
Yeah, my only problem with the Warriors now is Kevin Durant's mom. That lady needs to get the fuck off the stage.
Dude.
I can't watch her anymore. Wanda, I don't need to see you anymore.
She's the real MVP, though.
She is. Fucking be the real MVP from home.
You don't want her to be at the Oracle celebrating.
I don't want her arm around Steve Kerr ever again.
Why?
Because she ain't part of the team. She's just a mom. She's making a grown man look like he's 12 years old again.
I feel like you hate KD, and now you're just trying to be a hater.
KD was my favorite player last year, behind Dwayne Wade, of course. And I was so ready to be a Thunder fan once D-Wade went to Chicago. And then KD had to pull this weak-ass move, which is still weak despite him dominating. I get he brought another dimension to the Warriors, but it's still weak.
Here's the thing. We can call it a weak-ass move all we want, but let's just let's put it in broader terms. Like, if I told you that when you graduate college, you're going into sports reporting, and you had to go to the sports journalist center that decides that they just want to draft you. You had to go there, okay? You have no other option. So you go right for SB Nation. And ESPN's over here producing all this content. They're going to make you super famous. They want you. And you decide, okay, I'm going to ESPN. And everyone at SB Nation goes, oh, Ty, you're weak. Oh, that's weak. Oh,
if I'm a legitimate star and I helped build up SB Nation like Kevin Durant is one of the first 12 players to ever play for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
What makes you think he wants to be in OKC?
He loved it. Dude, they
No, he
named a
didn't.
town.
Why would he love
There's a
OKC?
town in Oklahoma named Durant.
There is nothing to do in OKC.
I'm not disputing that.
So so listen, he's rich, he's famous, and now he's living in Oklahoma?
So is Russell Westbrook. They can go turn up the city.
He's not Russell Westbrook. They're different people. He has the right to make a decision. And, he went to the greatest team ever, which everyone kind of hates on. And I understand that it kind of ruins competitive balance, but it made things easier for him. He had a legitimate case for MVP had he not been out for 6 weeks. And he won finals MVP, and he was super instrumental.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was amazing.
No, I'm not arguing that at all. He obviously brought a whole nother piece. Anytime the Warriors started to crack, they just turned to Kevin Durant, and that 5-point lead that they were just clinging to and would have lost last year got blown back up to a 12-point lead. That dagger in Game 3 obviously is huge. The guy he's incredible.
He came out and he said that LeBron's the only guy that can see eye to eye with him.
That's amazing. That was my favorite quote of the whole damn thing.
That was awesome. And it's true. It's true.
It's absolutely true. It's so obvious after this finals that there's a huge gap between 1 and 2. Or from 1 and 2 to 3, 4, 5, and wherever you want to go from there.
I love Kawhi Leonard. I respect Kawhi Leonard. I thought that there was a chance that he was number 2. Yeah. After this postseason, there's no shot.
There's no chance.
There's no shot. I watched every Warriors game, at least part of it, because most of them ended up being blowouts. And Kevin Durant was the most impressive player of the NBA Finals, not named LeBron James, of the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
So there's not much to say about that. Where does everyone else go from here?
I don't know, but I'm thinking that imagine a Cavaliers team who gets Anthony Davis. I know it's unrealistic. The dude signed to a huge contract, but just picture that. It's a 2K game. Picture how great that team would be and them go toe-to-toe with the Warriors next year. That's the biggest move you can make. Not Chris Paul. Chris Paul does nothing for your team.
You're speaking nonsense.
Anything to say?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay, imagine a Knicks team with LeBron James.
Oh, yeah, but the Knicks aren't doing that.
So you want the Cavs? How are the Cavs going to get Anthony Davis? You know what they're going to have to give up for Anthony Davis?
To give up Kevin Love.
Oh yeah, because the Pelicans are going to be like, oh, you know what? You know who's better than Anthony Davis? Kevin Love's going to help us. That's what they're going to say. Of course not. You know what they're going to have to give up? They're going to have to give up Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love.
Yeah, probably.
So you think that LeBron plus Anthony Davis is better than Kyrie Love and LeBron?
You gotta keep one of the two. If you can keep Kyrie, which they're obviously not letting go. What Windhorst is saying is that LeBron was saying, me and you are coming back, and whatever that was, which makes it obvious how much they like each other.
LeBron also said, not 4, not 5, not 6.
Of course.
And he ended up leaving.
I think
he also said, Cleveland's my home. He ended up leaving. So I don't.
Well, they'll sign for another year. And Kyrie signed through, I think, 2019. So,
which is why I think now is the perfect time to trade Kyrie.
For what are you going to get for him?
Okay, so here is what I was thinking. Chris Paul is a better option than Kyrie. Now, Broussard said that he thinks Paul is not going to relinquish the ball and that LeBron needs the ball. And I kind of agree that LeBron needs the ball, but I think that Chris Paul is a very willing passer, and definitely more so than Kyrie. He doesn't play ISO basketball. He's not selfish, and they've won championships together with the Olympic team. So if they want to construct a trade right now, you send Kyrie over, you get Chris Paul to do a sign and trade, and it gives the Clippers kind of a piece to restart with, right?
Yeah.
If they think about Kyrie, what a lot of teams and a lot of people think about Kyrie, then that's a win for them. To get rid of an aging Chris Paul who hasn't done shit for the Clips, and to get a young dynamic player who can do two things.
He does those two things very well.
He does.
I think Broussard's saying that LeBron needs the ball bringing it up court, which Kyrie will always do. Kyrie runs right down the court. He doesn't bring up the ball. LeBron's the point forward.
But the thing is, Kyrie brings up the ball most of the time. but I don't think that he's saying that he doesn't think Chris Paul would be willing to play off ball, and I think that's incorrect. I think Chris Paul is great off the ball. He's great at, even as little as he is. First off, he's the best defensive point guard in the NBA, and the Cavs were horrendous on defense.
Good about your boy Mike Conley?
I like Mike Conley, but he's not as good as Chris Paul. He's never made an All-Star game, dude. Come on. Chris Paul has made all defensive first teams. Chris Paul's a great defender. He's not – Mike Conley's not the best defender on his own team. Tony Allen's better.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And, yeah, so anyway, Chris Paul, best defensive point guard in the NBA. I think he adds another dimension to that Cavs team because he's willing to pass. He's going to make an effort on the boards, which Kyrie does not do. He can shoot the three at a more consistent rate, and his floater is unstoppable. Yeah. Now, Kyrie driving to the basket is also unstoppable.
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah, but Chris Paul just adds more to that.
I don't think he adds enough to push him over the top, though.
I think once you get Chris Paul, though, you can orchestrate a trade for Carmelo.
I don't think that team helps at all.
Which makes me a little sad. Well, think about it. You get rid of Kevin Love, who you say is a nobody, right?
He either gets 15 rebounds and scores 2 points, or he scores 25 points to get a rebound. It makes no sense.
So how is Carmelo not an upgrade?
He's another ball-dominant player.
Yeah, right. But have you seen him play? Well, think back to the last time you saw him play with Chris Paul or LeBron James. What did he do?
The Olympics. That does not count.
It does count because
that's like saying John Stockton and Carmelo won championships because they played on the Dream Team.
It's the only time you've seen him with teammates. Okay, so he
playing against guys from Cambodia that they're going to dominate no matter what.
Okay, so does it make it any different when you're shooting a basketball?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the rim's smaller because they're playing against Cambodia?
Defender?
Yeah, they play against Spain. He's been guarded by Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. He's been okay. Well, he plays against legitimate teams. They play against Argentina.
Two legitimate guys on one team.
France, no. Ginobili plays for Argentina. They played against legitimate. Look, they didn't win. It's not like we've won every one. Remember in 2004 we won bronze.
Yes, I know.
Okay, and Larry Brown should be blackballed from basketball because he sat LeBron, Carmelo, and Dwayne Wade for basically the entire Olympics.
Because they were too young.
Yeah, whatever. It's ridiculous. Carmelo threw away that bronze medal. He threw it into a lake.
Good. I would have too.
I think that's so funny. But think about this. If they could make the Caps work to where you trade Kyrie for Chris Paul and then you make some sort of three-team deal. So you bring in Carmelo, you ship Kevin Love off. Let's just say Minnesota. Kevin Love doesn't have a no trade. So you ship Kevin Love to Minnesota. They send Rubio and a pick to New York. And New York sends Carmelo over to Cleveland. That's a win-win-win.
It sounds good. Cleveland's got the highest payroll, though. And I don't know how much better you get from Kyrie, from the big three you got now to that big three that you're going with.
The big three that they got now is the worst team in the NBA when LeBron's not on the floor.
The team that you just orchestrated doesn't sound great with LeBron off the floor either.
Kyrie was like minus 50 in the finals.
Look at Melo's point differential, which I brought up to you, minus 267 or whatever the hell it was.
You can't look at stats for players who play on the Knicks or the Nets or the Orlando Magic. You can't look at point differential because there are four other guys that they're having to defend. Melo is a league average defender by sabermetrics. He is exactly a league average defender. Okay, that's not an upgrade over Kevin Love. Kevin Love's a good defender. But as a power forward, Carmelo is the toughest player to guard at that position because he can hit threes and he can take you to the post. He can hit the mid-range jumper. He has everything in his arsenal. He is a huge offensive upgrade from Kevin Love, and I think if you're going to fight the Warriors, you have to fight fire with fire.
I want whoever watches this podcast to leave comments on if this is an upgrade or not, because I'm not arguing with a biased Melo fan anymore.
Okay, well, that brings us to the next part is the draft. Now, who can improve in the draft? The draft's my favorite day of the year because it's the one day I have hope as a Knicks fan. The last Knicks pick we had, I'm celebrating him today. This is my boy, KP. I was in Manhattan for this pick. It's a funny story. I remember we were sitting at a bar watching the draft, me and my friend Ryan, and the Sixers took Okafor, who we were really hoping would fall to the Knicks. And Emmanuel Mudiay was the next obvious pick, everyone thought. So I was like, all right, let's just leave the bar. I want to show you New York. Let's walk around. So whatever. So we start walking, and we're passing Madison Square Garden at the time of the pick. And about 4, 5, 6 dudes run out of Madison Square Garden. They're cussing. They're tearing off Knicks jerseys. That's all I got. Take off this Knicks jersey, throw it in the street. I was like, dude, what happened? Oh, we fucking picked Porzingis. Who the fuck? This fucking European fuck. It was
you probably didn't even know where Latvia was before that pick.
No. So I tell that story because I've resigned myself to trust Clarence Gaines. He's the Knicks head scout. He's got a real eye for talent. He brought over Willie Hernan-Gomez, who was the first center to average those numbers that he did this year. I don't have them off the top of my head, but he averaged them. He was the only guy to do it since Shaq. He is a very good young player. He picked Porzingis, who's another very good young player, and he dodges a Mudiay bullet. So I'm resigned to whoever the Knicks pick. I'm going to support it. I'm going to be excited about it. So it's my one day of hope. And
you better hope that it's Malik Monk instead of Frank from wherever the fuck he's from. Frank
Ntilikina. He's from Strasbourg, Germany. He plays in France. Yeah, I really don't want that guy. I'm going to be honest. But he brings upside. He's 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan. He plays great defense. But my thing is, if you're getting 10 minutes a game on your French team, then why do we think that you can be a starter in the NBA?
You better hope Phil doesn't fall in love with that white guy from overseas again.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's not going in the first 10. Who I really, really want is Malik Monk. Yeah, he's my number one pick. Dennis Smith Jr. would be the second guy that I really want, and he seems to be able to fall. But you know who the Lakers are saying they don't want? It's Lonzo Ball.
Not going to get him.
They said that he came in for an interview last week, and they said that they were less than impressed. Justin Jackson, who I think – not Justin Jackson, the kid from Kansas. Josh Jackson, that's who it is. I thought he was the best player in college basketball this year, despite the fact that I couldn't remember his name. He was fantastic. Playing with Frank Mason helped, but the Lakers.
I think it looks like a lot of mock drafts have him at 4 to the Suns, which seems like it'd be a great pick. You fit him with Devin Booker.
Yeah,
you're pretty far on your way to building something.
Yeah, I agree. So there have been reports that have said that he has been promised he will be taken in the top 3, which tells me that the Sixers have said, look, if these two teams don't take you, we're going to take you. And there have also been reports that he is been invited back for a second workout and interview with the Lakers after they weren't very impressed with Lonzo Ball's interview. And he's the only player to be invited back for a second workout with the Lakers. So it leads me to ask, what do you think the Lakers do?
I think they're married to Lonzo Ball at this point. I think they know that he wants to go there and play. Just over people's eyes before the draft happens. And then in a week, when it gets to pick number 2 after Markelle Fultz is off the board, Lonzo Ball will be right there with him.
Man, see, I thought for sure they were Ball. I was all on this Ball train. And then last week, LeVar Ball came out and started criticizing D'Angelo Russell. And D'Angelo Russell is not a guy who I think is going to be a superstar, but he is a guy who is a very talented player and a guy that the Lakers have a lot of investment in at this point. Yeah. And I don't have a problem with anything LeVar's done. I've said it before. I think he's hilarious. I think he's a wrestling character. He's a goofball.
That's all he should be.
That's all he should be. And when you start coming out and criticizing the Lakers centerpiece. He's the guy that they're trying to build their franchise around at this point. That's when you have problems with him.
I don't see why you can't push one of the two to play the shooting guard. Lonzo, D'Angelo Russell, and Brandon Ingram. What they got Brandel in the post. I'll throw on the court.
Moscow.
Great. That's gonna help. But you go those three, I think again they're on their way to building something too, especially with all the rumors of LeBron going out to LA in 2 years.
See, the thing is, I think that, well, first off, if LeBron was to go to LA, he wouldn't go to the Lakers. There would be no point in him going to the Lakers. See, what he did, he brought a championship to the Heat, a team with one championship, a new franchise. He's a king. He's going to have his jersey retired in Miami. He's going to have his jersey retired in Cleveland for bringing them a championship, a city that is starved of professional sports championships.
Stipe Miocic, that's what we got.
Deep. That's true, man. He lost JDS in his last fight. He's awesome. We'll talk about UFC a little bit later. I think if he goes anywhere in LA, it would be the Clippers, just because that's where he can be the most famous. He delivers a championship to the Lakers. It's, 18, 17, something like that?
Yeah, but it's huge. It's the first one since Kobe left. Step into the Kobe spotlight.
So the first one in 2 years.
In a few years, yeah. But 2010? You're going to tell me the next Yankee championship isn't going to feel special if Judge delivers you one?
No, I'm not going to say that. But Judge is homegrown. I'm saying if we brought over who knows? Okay, but if we brought him over for a year and he won us a championship and then he retired, then I don't think I would love Mike Trout forever. I would be like, oh yeah, Mike Trout. I don't think about A-Rod the way that I think about guys like Jeter and CeCe. So it's just a little different. Okay, let's segue away from the NBA. What do you want to talk about? I know you want to talk about the U.S. Open. Well, let me give a little take about the St. Jude Classic before this, and the NCAA as a whole. So at the St. Jude Classic, there was a kid from Ole Miss named Braden Thornberry, placed fourth, would have won $240,000, except for he was an amateur because he plays college golf, and the NCAA would not let him accept that money. It's what I hate about the NCAA. That right there, it's gross.
It's absurd.
It's gross. It's terrible. The kid is allowed to play in the tournament, but he's not allowed to accept his things. Like, are you kidding me?
His prize money? Yeah, really. It makes no sense. And there's a news story out about a UCF punter, Central Florida punter, who has a YouTube channel with like 55 million subscribers. Is able to get a lot of ad money, but the NCAA won't let him run ads before his things.
Well, that's what he gets for being a punter. But no, the NCAA is a joke, man. It's their tyranny. They claim that they're a nonprofit, and then their high-ranking guys make millions of dollars a year on child labor. It's
crazy.
It's ridiculous, dude. I have friends who are going in the MLB draft today, and they'll be picked, and they're not graduated yet, and they're just going because they're tired of working for free. It's time, especially when these guys make money independently. You just need to let them do it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
out in places fourth against professionals. Ole Miss is getting their reputation no matter what. This kid deserves to get at least a little bit of his prize money.
And the thing is, he was the NCAA champion this year. He was the best golfer in the NCAA. He goes out. He was the fourth best golfer at the St. Jude Classic in Memphis this last weekend.
Playing. Names in that.
And then he gets to go back to his college dorm room and eat ramen noodles and watch Netflix. It's terrible. It's ridiculous. If I had to turn down $250,000, I would cry. And that's about all I have to say on golf. But you want to talk about the U.S. Open?
I do. I think this course is going to be a lot of fun to watch. They're playing at Erin Hills in Wisconsin, and a lot of people are comparing it to links golf overseas. It's a new style of American golf, and it's set up perfectly for some of these young guys. And the most fun story is Phil Mickelson missing his chance to go for the career Grand Slam because he's trying to go to his daughter's graduation.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
How can you not love Phil for that?
It's ridiculous. I think Phil's an idiot. Look,
you're an asshole, man.
Look, listen, he has blown the lead for the Grand Slam. What is it? 3 times in the final round that he's had the lead and blown it to win this tournament. And
Cock Hills being the worst
because you want to see your daughter walk across a stage for 1 second. Listen. Here's the deal. You are Phil Mickelson. You bring
that's family love.
You bring the graduation to Wisconsin, and then you graduate while you're on the first hole, and you hold up the quiet sign, and then once she walks across the stage, you hit your ball, and then everyone can clap, and then that's it. Or you
She just walks across the fairway, hand her a diploma at the tee box.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd, Phil. You're an idiot for doing this. You have, 3 years left? She's going to graduate college, dude.
Yeah. Well, he's got more than 3 years left of playing good golf. The dude's still playing great. Once he starts to decline, we can talk about how much longer he has left. But I respect the high school a lot for trying to move up the graduation a few hours, and I respect the PGA Tour for giving him the second to last tee time. How much fun would it be to see Phil pulling up at 80, park, have a go-kart waiting for him there, and hauling ass to the first tee? It'd be the best story in golf. People will start watching.
It's funny because Phil probably doesn't even stretch anyway.
No, absolutely
I can see Phil rolling out of bed, going out and hitting a 72. I can also see Phil going out of bed, hitting the first tee, and then putting up a snowman and
wait for the 18th there when he decides to pull driver and hit a fucking 10.
Yeah, you got to hit a 4.
He's a jackass, man. But I think Dustin Johnson's going to go out and tear up this course. If it wasn't for a 2-foot putt that he fucking 3-putted, this guy would be coming back as the back-to-back defending champion. This course sets up perfectly for him with all the carriage. If he can outlast some of these young guns, this is his tournament to lose.
He's the best golfer in the world.
By far.
Yeah, I'm a big DJ fan. He's also dating Gretzky's daughter or married to her.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if Wayne's letting him get married yet. I think Dustin's still got to clean up his act a little bit to marry the great one's daughter. You can't go on coke benders and fucking marry Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Well, that coke thing was years ago, man. Give it a break.
Hey, it happened.
Yeah, I just feel bad for him that hangs over his head. Okay,
of course.
He went to rehab, he fixed it, and it's over.
He's a great champion. I got no hatred in my heart for DJ.
He's a great champion, and everything he says publicly makes it seem like he's a great person. I don't really care that he did coke.
Yeah, just a Myrtle Beach kid.
Just a Myrtle Beach kid. Okay, is that all you got on the Open?
Yeah, watch out for Justin Thomas. That's it.
Watch out for Kevin Na because he might take 2.5 minutes to start his swing every single time.
That guy's a fucking crazy golfer, man.
Yeah, I hate watching him. So that brings us to our next segment, which I want to be a recurring thing because it's been a recurring thing between you and I in our personal lives when we speak. You think that the Mets are the real deal. Actually, take this second. Go ahead and plug your last article.
Oh, yes. Go to doublegsports.com. I wrote an article about how the pitching has started to turn around, which it did not turn around last night. Got fucking bombed from the first pitch of the game. But I do think the Mets have enough to turn around. I think we will be sellers, but I think we'll kind of be sellers like the Yankees were last year, where we sell off a good asset but get a lot back. So
Ty is a great writer. It's a good article. I went and read it last night. I read it, and then I went on the ESPN app, and I looked up the score for the Mets game, and they were down 8-1 in the top of the second inning.
I turned it on. I think it finished at 12-1. It was ugly. I can't stand Joe Madden, man. This dude pisses me off. He's trying to reinvent baseball. Batting Anthony Rizzo first. He's got John Lester who can't get a fucking hit, who gets a fucking hit yesterday, batting 8. Schwarber goes from catcher to left field. Wilson Contreras goes from first base to catcher. It makes no sense.
Dude, you're a hater.
I am a hater. I was a hater last year in the World Series too.
Chris Bryant's batting second. Why don't you talk about how you hate that?
It makes no sense. And then he's got what? Javi Baez and Addison Russell batting in cleanup?
Look, dude, he won a championship, or he was a part of that championship last year. I don't want to say he won because he didn't throw a single pitch or take a single at bat.
Yeah.
But
Was a
he's
weird
great
fucking manager.
He's a great manager. You'd love to have him.
I'd love to have anyone but Terry right now.
This is the year Terry's gone, dude. I don't know if he
hope so,
makes
man.
it through the year, to be honest.
And honestly, I don't even blame him for the losses. I just think they need to get a coach that the players can relate to. We got a loaded roster of young guys and then a 70-year-old manager.
By the way, when I was trying to introduce the segment, I wanted to introduce it as Battle of New York because Ty is a diehard Mets fan and I am a diehard Yankees fan for my entire life. So, yeah, the Mets are a joke.
5 games under. We're all right.
5 games under, and you're letting Jose Reyes hit 180 while you got Ahmed Rosario in AAA batting, 350, something like that?
Yeah, he's fucking hitting the cover off the ball, man.
I don't know why he doesn't come up. Didn't they just call someone up like yesterday?
Well, Asdrubal Cabrera just went onto the DL, and we bring back up Neil Ramirez into the bullpen, who fucking I could hit. Like, this guy is not a good relief pitcher. We got one of the best prospects in baseball, just killing it in Las Vegas, which is a hitter's ballpark. I get it, but it goes for something. And he's a younger fielder. When we can't field for shit, we need help.
You're letting Jose Reyes run out there and be a joke.
Yeah,
he's been for the last 3 years, something like that.
He had a good year last year, but he's been a joke.
And you have an absolute stud in AAA tearing the cover off the ball, and it's the Metsiest thing the Mets can do to not bring him up and let him play.
You're not kidding, man.
It's funny to me. It's funny.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Well, one of the big problems that I have with the Yankees is that they let their guys kind of roast a little bit too long, I think, in the minors. But the CC injury really opens the door for this kid that I've been following for a long time. His name's Chance Adams. He pitched at Dallas Baptist. And the CC thing, okay, first off with CC. Chris Carter. What are you doing in the major leagues still?
It's crazy. Hitting home runs, that's it.
He doesn't even do that. I am so sick of this guy, man. He can't hit home runs anymore. He can't field. He's terrible. And what does he do? He goes out and makes a crucial error, and CC gets hurt because he has to throw another pitch because he was running and trying to cover the base and hurt a hamstring. And now the guy who's pitched to just over a 1 ERA over the last 6 starts is on the DL, or he's going to hit the DL. He's been the best pitcher in baseball his last 6 starts. He's been amazing.
He has been amazing.
He's revived his career, and because Chris fucking Carter decides he wants to play grab ass over at first base and swing at every pitch, and now he's in the line. Oh my God, I hate him so much, Ty.
The Yankees are great. Their corner infield sucks, though. Chase Headley's got to go, and Chris Carter's got to go.
I totally agree. The Yankees actually moved up Gleyber Torres, who we got last year from the Cubs, and the Chapman trade. He's in AAA right now. He's hitting pretty well. I would expect to see Headley I don't know if we could even move him. We'd have to package him with a stud to get even anything for him.
Yeah, anything, yeah.
But what I was saying about Chance Adams, he's probably going to come up and take the spot. I'm looking at his numbers right now. In 3 seasons in the minor leagues as a starter, he is 23-4. He pitches to a 2.08 ERA over 233 and a third innings, 233 innings and 261 strikeouts. He's got a whip of under 1 for his career. He's a stud.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Chance Adams pitch. It's the only silver lining in the CC injury.
If he comes up and pitches, and it sets up well because his next start. So at least you get somewhere that you can get a credible start.
Yeah,
a quality start.
It's time to take a chance on Chance, just like we took a chance on the Judge, who again this week won Player of the Week. Added another 3 home runs.
It just doesn't even make sense at this point.
Well, Ty, you and I had this argument at the beginning of the baseball season where I told you Aaron Judge would hit 30 home runs. And what did you say to me?
I said that he'd be under.
You said that he'd be under. Now,
they'd be Around 25, I said. And he's going to be 25 at the end of fucking June.
He might be at 30 at the end of June.
Who knows?
It is June 18th today. Or sorry, 14th. And he has 22 home runs.
Easy.
He leads the major leagues and or he leads the American League in home runs, RBIs, and batting average. He is.
Did someone catch him in the NL in home runs?
No one's got him.
Yeah, no one's catching him.
The next closest guy has 18. Judge has 22. Should be 23. Triple gate. You guys can look that up if you want. I'm not getting into it. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so he is on pace for an 11-win WAR season, which would be the best since Barry Bonds in 2002.
Yeah, what's their other link? That they got both. They're gonna get popped for steroids.
No, Judge is not gonna get popped for steroids. Dude, he's 6'8".
I don't wish it upon him. I'm just assaulting that fan. And you guys it looks like Jesus Christ playing right field when I got to watch Jay Bruce fucking lug his slow ass out there.
Oh, man. Well, you know, you can say steroids all you want, and then you look at the guy who's leading the American League in batting average, and steroids don't help that.
No. He hits a piss ton of doubles. It's crazy.
He's an amazing
He's got speed. He's an amazing player.
And you know what I really can't wait for is in 2 years when we're running out, Judge and right, Bryce Harper in left. Or Bryce Harper will be playing center because we got Clint Frazier playing left, one of the top 5 outfield prospects in baseball. And then we're going to
I wouldn't be surprised if Gardy's still playing out there.
Dude, Gardy's having a good year as well. Him and Matt Holliday have a bet. They're the Bald Bros, and it's kind of like a thing right now. And they have a bet, which makes me think that Brett Gardner's an idiot as to who is going to hit more home runs this year. I think Gardner has 12, Holliday has 13.
Gardy's hitting well.
Well, the loser has to grow their hair out. And
can they?
That's what I'm saying.
Who knows?
I don't even think they can. What? Yeah, I don't know. Gardner seems to have some stubble back here. He might have the Feinbaum look going.
Yeah. That's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's not gonna look good on him, man. But
no,
I love Brett Gardner. I really hope we don't trade him. I know there was some talks a couple years ago that we were going to move him for Castro. We got Castro anyway, so yeah.
The most Yankee thing you can do, man.
Look, dude, the Yankees are stacked right now. Didi Gregorius is the best shortstop in baseball. I said he was top 3 a couple weeks ago. I think he's the best, man. He's got I think last night snapped an 18-game hitting streak. He's batting .340 out of the shortstop position. He throws 100 miles an hour across the diamond, and he's got a great glove. Didi is the truth, dude. And we got him for Shane Green. Do you know who Shane Green is?
Yeah, Shane Green was once a Met, as everybody might as well have been. Any pitcher might as well have been a Met.
Different Shane Green.
Different Shane Green?
Different Shane Green. You think we got him for the outfield?
Thank God.
Okay.
Like the 40-year-old lefty.
Yeah, no, that's not that Shane Green. This Shane Green came up with the Yankees, had a great half a season. Cashman decided he was going to flip him while the value was hot. He sent him to Detroit. Didi came to New York from Arizona, and Detroit sent a nobody to Arizona, and we ended up getting the best shortstop in baseball out of it.
Some basketball teams can learn a lot about trading high.
Dude,
trading
exactly.
High.
That's what I'm saying about Kyrie. We'll not get into that again. All I wanted to bring that up for was because Aaron Judge is the truth. And he's amazing, and he's better than any Met that you have and will ever have and has ever played for the Mets. And
that's tough to say. You can't go there yet, but he's on pace to be great.
He is on pace to be great. Okay, flip the gears. We like to end the podcast with some UFC talk. There's a couple big topics in UFC and boxing, for that matter. McGregor and Mayweather yesterday set a date at the MGM Grand, August 26th. You think it's going to happen?
No. But I think there'll be a lot of hype going into it. I would love to see their trash talk. This might be Bones against Cormier kind of trash talk.
Well, actually, John Jones's mom died yesterday. It was a really sad situation. Daniel Cormier sent him a nice tweet.
Oh, yeah? That's respect. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was sad. His mom has diabetes or had diabetes. She had her leg cut off a few years ago because of it, and then she lost her eyesight, so she hasn't been able to watch John fight in years. It's a really sad situation.
Bones, you'll never see this, but rest in peace, man.
Yeah, JBJ did not die. It was his mother. So yeah, she'll.
I'm just saying, once he watches Sports Dorks.
No, you said rest in peace, man. like he died. No, he did not die. Yeah, our thoughts go out to John Jones and his family. That really sucks. But yeah, so McGregor Mayweather, there's too much money to be made for it to not happen. The shit talk is gonna be legendary.
Legendary, man.
I agree. Connor posted a picture of Floyd on his Instagram yesterday. It said, shout out to Floyd Mayweather Sr. for getting in the ring. I hope I can train at that age. Much respect.
It's a great start.
It's a great start. Connor is the undefeated pound-for-pound greatest shit talker in the history of shit talk. He is.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
He is. And his shit talk makes me believe that he can do anything that he said he can do.
It's hard to disagree yet. Nate Diaz is the only person who proved him wrong.
And he went up. He was training for a 155-pound fight. And ended up fighting Nate Diaz at 170 pounds twice.
Caught him completely off guard.
Twice. He lost once and then beat him. So,
which I went back and watched after this date was established. I went back and watched most of the Conor fights. The dude can legitimately box, it seems like. And especially with the camp where he focuses on boxing, that left hand, Floyd's going to have to watch out because it can quickly turn to 49-1.
It's unbelievable, dude. It's
like a fucking viper attached to his body.
It's a fucking car piston. You know how they just hit? That's what it is. It's ridiculous. He hits you with that left hand and you're asleep. Ask Jose Aldo.
Yeah, you go down hard, man.
Yeah, and we think it's a sport that he's never competed in. And, I know he's 750 or he's plus 750 at Vegas right now. So wow. Smart money's on. Yeah, you bet.
No kidding.
175.
I might have to go throw a bet down.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to before the lines get crazy. 90% of the bets in Vegas right now are on Conor to win this fight.
Okay. So it's going to drop eventually.
Well, yeah, but his line is so ridiculous that you just got to hammer it.
That line, if this fight happens, that line will be around 400. No one's going to really give this guy a legitimate chance.
Yeah, well, it's 700 now. No one's giving him.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, Floyd is undisputedly the greatest boxer ever. He's 49-0. You can't say anyone is better than him, in my opinion. Ali lost a lot. Frazier lost. Guys lose. Tyson lost.
Yeah.
Floyd, for my money, is the best boxer I've ever seen. Now, granted, I didn't grow up when boxing was a thing, so I just watched, boxing recaps. I'm a fight fan. I like to see fights. And he's the greatest, man. You can't hit him. But
he's the smartest, that's for sure.
But what I'm saying is something's got to give. Because Conor's left hand, you can't take it. Floyd's not going to be able to take that if he gets hit by it. You get hit flush with that hand, and you're asleep. And he's proved that.
Yeah, those lights go out quick.
He's proved it time and time and time and time again. And if I had to bet on something not happening, it would be Floyd's speed. If something's going, it's the speed of a 50-year-old man. It's just gonna happen.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with that, but Floyd has gone against great fighters in the past. Floyd's only 40. Let's not call him 50 yet. But I think he would just outsmart Conor, just like he outsmarted Manny, just like he's outsmarted everybody in his whole career. It'd be another decision. If he can make it to 15 rounds, Conor's obviously had problems even going 5 rounds in the past. He was done at the end of that Nate Diaz fight. They were both completely drained.
They fight 12 rounds, homie. But yeah, also MMA is a lot different with 5 rounds because it's not 5 rounds of just throwing hands. It's 5 rounds of get kicked in the head, grappling, being fucking thrown up against a steel cage.
No question.
It's a lot different than boxing. Conor relies a lot on his movement. His movement is very similar to Floyd's. It's not dissimilar at all. His head, you just can't find him really. And when you do find him, he can eat a punch.
Yeah, he goes in and out of range as good as anybody.
Yeah, he's great. A lot of it's set up by his kicks, which is what I'm so interested about in this fight, is to see if he can box without the threat of his legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so my money would be on Connor. I'm just gonna say
you gotta put the money on Connor. My head goes with Floyd though.
I'm just gonna say Connor because I truly believe the Irishman can do whatever he says he can do. He was the 145-pound champion. He went up and became the 155-pound champion. He's talking about going up to 170 and becoming the 170-pound champion. So I believe that
they're stuck in the mud. Everybody's stuck in the mud.
Well, when he was talking about stuck in the mud, he was talking about Rafael dos Anjos, the 155-pound champion, and he fights this weekend at Fight Night 111. It's a really good card. So what they do with these fight nights is a lot of times these guys and girls who are champions, they get these things called pay-per-view points where when they're on the pay-per-view, it's written into their contract that they're going to get X amount of money just to be on the pay-per-view, and then they get a percentage of the share. So when these guys start losing, they put them on these fight nights because they're on public TV or they're on UFC Fight Pass, and they don't have to get paid this percentage of the pay-per-view. So that's why this weekend's card is so great. So we have Holly Holm versus Bethe Correia. Holly Holm has lost 3 straight, but she is known as the woman who beat Ronda Rousey. We have Tarek Saffiedine versus Rafael dos Anjos, who Connor said was stuck in the mud and he will whoop his ass. RDA has lost 2 straight, but they're the killers. Tarek Saffiedine stands no chance against him. Sorry. Andre Arlovsky versus Marcin Tybura. Arlovsky is a former heavyweight champion. He has lost 5 straight because the UFC thought he was something serious, and he ended up just being this shredded dude who could punch someone in the face, and he's not really a good fighter. And then we have Dong Hyun Kim, the stun gun, against Colby Covington, which is my favorite fight of the night because I think Dong Hyun Kim is an absolute beast. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that Holly Holm will finally get her shit straightened out. She's got it eventually. She had enough to take down Ronda Rousey. She got enough to take down anyone she wants. Bethe Correia is 10-2, so I mean she's gonna obviously be tough competition early, but I think Holly will hold her own.
Here are my thoughts about Holly. She is like something like 100-time world boxing champion. She's absurd. She wins everything that she was in. She got into UFC and became like the first generation of great women's strikers. I was saying this back when Ronda was the champion because you remember you and I had this talk where I told you I could beat up Ronda Rousey.
It's the most – if you heard that just now, he's fucking retarded. See what I'm arguing? You're not going to beat up Ronda Rousey.
Okay, look, I'm not getting into this argument because I'm not going to talk about how I could beat up Ronda Rousey.
We're going to put this in a podcast eventually, though.
She can't throw a punch, dude. She doesn't know how to punch, and she's proven that throughout her whole career. All of her wins are arm bars, man. And
you better not go to the ground with her.
That's what I said, Ty. That was the point. I'm not getting into it. It's not about me versus Ronda. Look, I have 7 inches and 40 pounds on Ronda Rousey. Obviously, if we're in a boxing ring, I'm going to box her face off, and I've only punched like 2 people in my entire life, okay? So but if we were in a judo competition, you would throw me and then armbar me into oblivion. But that's not how MMA works, okay?
Hey, ask Turtle what happened in the Entourage movie. That'd be you.
Oh, man. So to bring it back to Holly Holm, she beat Ronda Rousey, but she beat Ronda Rousey when Ronda wasn't that good, dude. Ronda was unstoppable because women's MMA had not caught up to her. She was the first big thing. And then when she became a thing, it became public. Oh, shit, women can fight now? So these Muay Thai champions and these boxing champions and these women who are great wrestlers started to come over, and they started to fight. And so Holly Holm comes in at 9-0 into the Ronda fight, and she just kickboxes the shit out of her.
She beat the shit out of her,
She beat the living shit out of her.
Yeah, that was weird to see.
But it doesn't mean that Holly Holm is the next great thing, and she proved it. She went out and lost her next 3 fights. Now, I love Holly Holm. I think she is a great fighter. I love watching her fight because she can take a punch just as well as she can give it. And she head kicked Ronda Rousey into oblivion, which was fun for me to watch because I was not a Ronda fan. And I did not have money on the fights. That made it even better. I think Holly Holm wins that fight. against Bethe Correia. I think they put her on this card so they can try and get her back into the good graces of UFC fans, because if you have someone who beat the girl who was like the unstoppable force.
He built it. He built women's fighting.
Right. Yeah. Ronda was the unstoppable force, and Holly beat her. And so you know how marketable that would make her?
Absolutely.
She's incredible.
She was supposed to be the next great champion until she got choked out by Miesha Tate.
Yeah, and then she went on and lost her next 2 fights.
And
so
of
I
course,
think
Miesha ended up losing her next fight.
Yeah, and then retiring. Yeah, I think that they want to get her back into like to where they can promote her. So I think that's why they give her this Bethe fight. Bethe is no joke, but Bethe is a bitch. No, sorry, she's gonna curl up and die. Holly's gonna kick her in the head. She's gonna punch her in the face and murder her. I think it's gonna be a beatdown. So yeah, the next fight, RDA versus Tarek Saffiedine. I already told you, I think Dos Anjos is gonna win. Former champion, he's a badass.
Hard to go against him. Saffiedine's gonna be in for a long day. Probably not even long.
Well, maybe, because RDA has been known to drag fights in the mud and ragdoll people. Look, he lost to Khabib. Who did he lose to? Tyron Woodley. It's
yeah, those are loaded fighters.
Right. One of them's a champion, the other one's a badass who's never been beaten.
Future champion.
Yeah. Well, Khabib may never fight again. Just
until someone finally, if they give him that fight.
He's always hurt. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's about all I have to say on that one. Arlovsky versus Tybura. I don't really care. 2 big dudes.
Yeah, Andrade is huge and ripped, but he's getting so old. His fights aren't even worth watching anymore.
He's been knocked.
This guy is
He's been knocked out or submitted in 4 of his last 5. And he's lost his last 5. He's not a good fighter anymore. The UFC thought that he was this next like gorilla of the next evolution of great heavyweights. So they gave this huge deal, and that's why he's still fighting in the UFC, because they're just trying to get rid of his contract and then rid themselves of Andrei Arlovsky.
It's a smart idea.
I think so, too. The fight I'm most interested in is the stun gun Dong Hyun Kim versus Colby Covington. I don't know how much people know about Colby Covington. He's 11-1. He's a submission specialist. He's a badass. But he's facing a guy who, in my opinion, is one of the greatest fighters in the history of the UFC, he doesn't get talked about enough, man. So Dong Hyun Kim, for anyone who doesn't know, is 22-3-1. He's amazing. His only losses, he beat Tarek Saffiedine, who's on this card. His losses came to Woodley, who's a champion, Maya, who's about to beat Woodley to be a champion, Carlos Condit, who is a former champion. Those are his 3 professional losses, dude. And he's been fighting in the UFC since 2008.
Jesus.
He's beat Nate Diaz. He has beat Eric Silva. He has beat some badasses in the who's who of MMA. And I think it's going to be no different against Colby Covington, dude. I think
Colby's about to find out what it's really like to be in a UFC fight. Great for him being 11-1. He seems like a great fighter. No question that if you go to the floor and he gets you in a submission, that you're going to be in some pain. But the stun gun, he's going to stand and trade with you.
Yep, I agree. So, yeah, man, I'm out of things to talk about. What about you? Anything else?
I think we're good.
All right.
U.S. Open, that's it, baby.
Okay, follow me on Twitter at ZRobinson2. Don't follow Ty. His Twitter sucks.
I don't even know my Twitter handle, man. Double G Sports, that's it. I'm a writer.
Of course. Kyrie sucks. The Cavs suck. The finals sucked. Until next time, this is the Sports Dorks. Be sure to hit subscribe and follow us on SoundCloud.